everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily. Today's video we're going to be doing an extra supersized swatch and wash. There's been a lot of stuff coming out lately and a bunch of it finally landed in Sephora so I could actually take a look in person and see what it is I actually wanted to be getting. There are a couple of things on this list that I do actually wish to pick up. I'm just going to wait till a couple more releases come out because there's a lot of stuff that looks very similar right now. Right now we're just a purple phase of eyeshadow and that's okay, I love purple. So I just want to make sure with a couple more things that I am ready. But first up, we're going to look at this from Too Faced. This is the Then and Now eyeshadow palette Cheers to 20 Years collection. So what this is they're doing 10 old shades that they came out of the vault, but they've been redone in a new formula, and then 10 current shades that are very similar. So this palette is $59. It is limited edition, and at first glance, it looks really beautiful. It is definitely a bigger palette in terms of the size of the actual palette. It's pretty long, so it does take up more space than a regular Too Faced palette would. I did take a look at it and thought, oh, those colors really appeal to me. And when I did the swatches, I will say in the swatching, the shadows look really nice and they look a lot more different. In person, I felt that like some of the shades, it's very subtle in terms of the difference. The metallics are really nice. I really didn't like the fact that there were two basically matte blacks and neither of them were particularly good. I really didn't like most of the mattes in the palette. There's not very many of them. There are mostly shimmers. And the shimmers are very pretty, but again, I don't know that they're so unique and, never seen before that I'm definitely going to need this palette. This one is definitely a bit more expensive, and I wasn't able to figure out how much was in each pan. So that's something I'm still looking for. Next, we have the Fenty Beauty Moroccan Spice eyeshadow palette. This is also $59, so this is the same price as that Too Faced. The thing with this palette, I think the packaging's lovely. It's very similar to the original Fenty eyeshadow palette, the all glitter palette. This looks pretty as an eyeshadow palette. However, I was not super impressed with the shadows in this palette. And the one thing that was annoying to me, even though I am a person who really loves glitter, because I really love glitter, there's some kind of glitter in basically every shade. Even the mattes had a little bit of glitter. And you can see on my hand that I didn't swatch everything. It's because it was kind of difficult to get a good swatch on all of the palettes in the actual store. Because a lot of the colors looked really similar on my hand, and some of the lighter colors, you couldn't see them on my hand because they just sort of blended into my skin. So it might just be that this particular color palette's just not a good match for me and my skin tone, and that's totally fine. I did think some of the shimmers were super pretty, but again, nothing so exciting that I've never seen before. I also really wanted to swatch the Flyliner Longwear Liquid Eyeliner from Fenty, and this is also $20, which is putting it on par with the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. Honestly, I really didn't like this liner at all. It didn't go on very well. It didn't make a straight line. It sort of like smudged as I was drawing it. The brush was really difficult to work with. And honestly, this is a true story. While I was standing in Sephora and I was swatching it, the Sephora employee came over to me. She looked what I was doing and she said, yeah, I wouldn't get that. You should get Stila or Kat Von D. Those are better. This is not a good eyeliner. I was sucked in by the packaging, but it's not a good eyeliner. So even the store employee was trying to talk me out of it. And when I swatched it, I just tried to do one single line across my hand. That is what it looked like when I did one single line. It might be that the brush was damaged from being in store, but I also just felt it was kind of difficult to work with. It's not something that's going to work with me. I would make a huge mess on my eyes with this eyeliner. And speaking of making a mess, we're taking a look at the Buxom Full-On Plumping Lip Polish. Now, this smelled really delicious. It smelled kind of like vanilla cupcakes, and it looked super pretty, but it was really gooey and sticky. I didn't find that it sort of tingled on my arm when I was swatching it, which usually is the thing when there's something that's plumping. It usually has some sort of irritant in it in order to make your lips plump. So I didn't actually notice that on my arm, which usually is fairly sensitive. So in terms of would I like it because I think the colors are pretty and it didn't appear to be like really aggravating? Sure. However, it was pretty goopy. I thought the colors were so pretty. I really wanted to like these, and unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to work for me, but I do love the colors, and, maybe I'll try a sample at some point, but this one just for me, not going to work out. I just decided to swatch this on a whim. This is from Josie Maran. This is the Vibrancy Argan Oil Fresh Face Paint Palette. I didn't even know this was a thing. I just saw it as I was walking by somebody else testing out something in the Josie Maran section. So apparently it's a face palette, so you can have like a blush and a highlighter and a bronzer and then another color that could work for any of those. I guess they're sort of hedging their bets as to, what skin tone you're going to have with this. It went on okay and it smelled alright, but this is $42. And if you're going to get something like this kind of face palette, you should get a Becca one instead. Or frankly, you could get this Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette. This is $45. This is what they're using, backstage at one of their shows. It is very tiny in person. It barely fits into your hand. It's a little teeny tiny palette, but it is very pretty on the skin. I don't need any highlighters like this. I have these already in my collection, but it sure was shiny and pretty. Now let's get down to it. This is the Kat Von D Metal Crush Extreme Highlighter. These are the highlighter singles. These are $30 a piece, and you're getting 5.2 grams of product each. 3 of these highlighters already exist. One of them comes as the 10th anniversary collections that already was released, the Gold School. It came in a fancy packaging. Otherwise, it's exactly the same as far as I can tell from swatching in the stores. And 2 of the other shades, the Gamma Ray and the Rose Shock, which is the orange and the pink, those already existed in a palette that you could buy that is still available on Sephora that I think is right now like $23. You get 3 shades and you're going to get a lot of product in there. So if you're thinking of buying those colors specifically, buy the palette instead. Don't buy these as singles. Otherwise, your options are a new color called Gravitron, which is the metallic buttery pink with pink and gold glitter, which it's not that different from the other shade that is not included in this, which is Helix, which was in the palette that has the collection of 3, and then the new color is really Stephanic, which is the metallic ice blue with blue and silver glitter. The only one I was interested in was the Stephanic. That is the blue one, and that one was super chunky. It was the chunkiest of all of them, and I don't like a chunky highlighter like that. These are extremely glittery highlighters. I love a glittery highlighter, so I'm fine with that, but the fact that this one just didn't feel nice on the skin, specifically that one, it reminded me a lot of the Gold School, which when I bought it in the 10th anniversary collection could get a little bit chunky. It was still pretty on my face, but it was the chunkiest. It did not perform the same as the palette, so I was pretty disappointed in this release. And the other reason I was so disappointed is that the Metal Crush liquid highlighters that also came out, which were $25, those are all shades that were previously available. So the 3 shades in that aforementioned palette we were discussing, plus the Gold School, which was like the big deal one for the 10th anniversary. It's the same shades. There's no difference here, and they don't look that great, honestly. Now, I don't like liquid highlighters to begin with, so this was probably never going to be for me. But I was just disappointed in, the quality. I will say the packaging on these were really difficult to open, and they were difficult to use. It's the kind that you have to pop off the end on one side and then turn the other one to click product up. I hate that, honestly. I end up wasting product because I will pick the wrong side and I will accidentally twist the side and I'm just dumping product into the cap lid. So I don't think this was designed very well. It looks kind of cheap, and none of the colors are new. So for this being a brand new launch, it's just not that exciting. The powder ones are much prettier, and even those, that's a specific person's taste. Last up, we're looking at the new colors for the Stila Shimmer and Glow Liquid Eyeshadow. I am so excited about these. They're super pretty. They're really deep, intense colors as opposed to like the light washes of color that some of the other ones can be. They are definitely very intense looking on the skin, and I think they're going to be really, really cool to own. There's a couple of new shades. I saw 6 in store, and those are the ones that I'm going to have swatched on my arm. You can tell the difference because they are in front of the name. They have Vivid in the title. So these are all the Vivid shades. I am super digging that deep forest green and also that really beautiful deep dark blue. Those are really quite lovely. They looked awesome on the skin, and I already like these. I know they're very expensive, so I have to buy them very sparingly, but I was super impressed with the quality on these. I definitely want to pick up that green one. That's on my list for the next time that there is a sale or I get a gift card, so I'm definitely going to get that one, and probably later on I will be picking up the blue one as well. Just as an FYI, the little sister to the Alchemist palette, this single Alchemist holographic transformer shade, this is a teal shade from Kat Von D. The sample in the store was kind of busted, so I really couldn't get a good sample of it. I did pick it up online. Please note that in stores they're charging $19, but online it's only $14. So if you really want it, go get it online. Don't pick it up in a store. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. There is new content coming. There's stuff that came up. I had a lot of work last week that I wasn't expecting, so I just got behind in my posting schedule. But I'm going to have a couple videos coming up in the next few days, so I hope to see you then. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye!